So,
Yeah.
Eric, I
It's
want to go into long time. You're writer director on this, and you spoke about it on the last podcast. You're very proud of this project, and just seeing the photo stills on IMDb, I'm anticipating this project. I'm very excited to see it as well. I feel like there was a lot of effort put into this. Can you discuss basically the story of this long time?
Yeah, I mean, do you want me to talk about the making or more of the
Just
story?
to give a background story, so the audience knows what the story's about, and then we'll dive into the experience and things like that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So long time. Like I said, follows a character named Vince who sort of is returning home from the war, back to his hometown, and his friends and family sort of host a celebration to celebrate the return of all the soldiers who are coming back at the end of the war, right? But Vince is sort of traumatized, and there's all sorts of things with his character, and it's sort of about him trying to readapt to life when he returns home, and it sort of all takes place within the sphere of this one night at this big event that the town holds to celebrate the return of all the soldiers. And yeah, that's where the story begins, my friend.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so no spoilers on that. We're just gonna have to wait and watch the film. But
No
the story is
spoilers.
incredible. I love period pieces. I think that's the inspiration for why you made it. I got like Captain America vibes. You and I joked around
A
about
little
that,
bit of
right?
Captain America.
Got the Chris
Yeah,
Evans vibes, right?
a little
And
bit.
yeah, it's I think what stuck out to me the most is the color grade. It just captures you, right? Credit to the cinematography, whoever's editing. Just great job on that. So very excited for that. Very excited to watch Man vs. Food as well. These are both projects that I'd like to know, again, your experiences on and see what came out of it for you guys. So back to Eric, I'll ask you, how was your experience directing Alex in this performance in Man
great.
vs. Food and Long Time?
Well, it was really so. There were two very different projects, but it was really interesting because we'll start with Man versus Food. So we did Man versus Food before Long Time, but it was great because I'm in Long Time as an actor, but I'm not in Man versus Food as an actor. So Man versus Food was a lot of fun because Man versus Food, there's not a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of visual acting and expression because it's really about the temptation of what's happening in that environment, about him and the foods, So that was a really interesting challenge. There was other actors in that film, and one of them, Chris Ormrod, who's also in Long Time, but they were all playing sort of B characters. And the primary thing was sort of Alex's character sort of like non-verbally acting through almost this entire movie. So that was an incredible challenge to direct him in a sense, because there wasn't a lot of dialogue to sort of give context for what was happening. It really had to come sort of through the visual context with his acting, right?
Facial expressions.
A lot of facial expressions,
and
that was the fun of that performance. But it's a totally different animal from Long Time, because Long Time is like 13 minutes of dialogue. Like that film is conversation, right? And so when Alex plays a character named Cliff in Long Time, who is one of the soldiers who comes back with the character that I play, Vince, and is at that party the night that all goes down. When I wrote the character Cliff, I knew it had to be Alex. I wrote it for him in mind, and it's sort of it's a very specific part. There's a very sort of niche angle to that character. I don't want to say too much. But him and we have a long dialogue scene in the movie, and it's explosive, and I think it's the best scene of the movie, to be honest with you.
Oh wow, and it's between both of you.
That was incredible. Yeah, I think it's the best scene in the movie. And so it was really fun to sort of like go from something where he says basically nothing, and it's all everything else. It's all to something where we're just hashing it out, like dialogue wise, right on the screen.
Right.
And it was total contrast, right? So yeah.
Expanding on you're expanding on the emotions of what the characters have gone through, and you're showing that in your dialogue, right? And that was that scripted, or did you guys have to ad lib it?
Yeah, it was scripted.
Oh,
There was a
okay.
lot of yeah, Man versus or Long Long Time was scripted. Man versus Food was scripted as well, but there was not much dialogue, so there wasn't. It was just a lot of like sort of like just a
So that
structure and a
explosive
visual.
moment wasn't like off the like you know how actors sometimes they'll go off the cuff and they'll like say things like that was a scripted part that you both had to sell like with your emotions.
Yeah, it was. It's an incredibly specific story point in the Long Long Time that
Hmm.
that character that he plays is like there to sort of articulate something very clearly about my character.
Right.
Um, so it was really important. Like I love to be to ad lib and to do like that, but
For sure.
his character has a very nuanced and very specific part. So we really had to play
Yes.
it very close to the script for that, and that was part of the challenge of it because Alex
No,
is
for
an
sure.
incredible ad lib actor and a comedian. So it's like
That's great.
it's crazy that yeah, but it was really
No,
interesting. Yeah,
I'm glad you clarified that because it's very important, and I'm glad that you mentioned the dialogue was critical in selling a certain piece of the story because
yeah,
ad lib does work. You know, Wolf of Wall Street, we've seen it in movies where it's like, haha, that was funny, that's amazing. But if it's not accurate to the story, if it doesn't serve the story, and you're just ad libbing just to ad lib, or because you feel it's more natural or more comfortable for the actors to do so, you can completely derail the motive of that scene, the spirit of that scene. So I'm glad that you stuck to you know the script and basically trusted the writing. It's important to have those emotions conveyed. Alex, what was your experience with that explosive scene shared with Eric?
With so for a long, long time,
Yes.
overall, like it was a really good experience. Like I don't know how to like I don't want to give away too much of
Okay.
like I guess I don't know what I can say and what I can't say because I signed the papers and things like that. So
Right. Right. Right.
but it was a really um like a really nice scene. Like when you see it, like you'll really see the like the emotion like really come through, and it was really it had to be like at one point the scene is like joyful, and then it kind of takes like a really serious turn. If I can say that, Eric, I don't know, am I allowed to say?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It goes from joyous to kind of like serious and like I guess like really quickly. So
All
to
right.
change the moods was yeah,
Yeah, it was very demanding, right, on an
yeah.
actor especially. And Eric mentioned that you're a comedian as well. I had no idea, and that's amazing. Like, uh, that's what I'm trying to get at is the fact that you can do comedy but also drama. That's not easy to do. Like people don't
No,
realize the emotional
yeah,
range. And
yeah.
from what you're describing, that intensity, the seriousness you have to take of this character, it sounds like you had to go to a dark place to channel that energy.
A little bit, yeah. I kind of try to put myself in the I guess like the mindset of a World War II veteran and things like that. I would read a lot about like the history, different types of like shell shock, different type of mental illnesses that they would come home with, and really try to put myself in that. But again, like I had to put myself in that, like on the outside, like the shell of like the outer shell of this character is happy and kind of joyful, but on the inside he's very like he's been through hell and back. So really had to put myself in that dark spot